She was once the glittering jewel of Versailles, the very image of aristocratic opulence, yet Marie Antoinette's end was as grim as her beginning was grand. Popular history often paints her as clueless, frivolous, and disconnected. "Let them eat cake," they claim she said, though she never did. But what if this queen, so often caricatured, wasn't blind to the storm that was coming? What if she saw it all? The revolution, the fall, her death. And what if she knew far earlier than anyone has ever given her credit for? Marie Antoinette, the Austrian-born Archduchess turned Queen of France, married into French royalty at just 14 years old. At first, she was a pawn of diplomacy, but quickly she became an icon, and to some, a symbol of everything wrong with the monarchy. But beneath the powdered wigs and the extravagant balls, Marie was no fool. In private letters, especially those exchanged with her mother, Empress Maria Theresa, and later with her confidant Count Foreseen, she expressed a startling awareness of the fragility of her throne. These weren't just the worries of a pampered royal, they were the early ripples of a political tsunami. As early as the 1780s, before the storming of the Bastille, Marie sensed the ground shifting. The lavish spending of the court, the dire financial state of France, the famine sweeping the countryside, she knew the optics were bad. While Louis XVI preferred to tinker with locks and pretend it wasn't happening, Marie watched the rage build beyond the palace gates. In 1789, when the Women's March on Versailles forced the royal family to move to the Tuileries Palace in Paris, her veil of royalty was permanently torn. She was no longer untouchable. She was a prisoner in a gilded cage, and yet her resolve hardened. In countless secret letters, some written in invisible ink, Marie Antoinette tried to rally support from other monarchies. She pleaded with Austria, her home, to intervene, not for revenge or power, but because she believed that if the monarchy fell in France, it would fall across Europe. She didn't just fear for herself or her children. She feared a future where thrones burned like torches, a queen terrified not of death, but of a world on fire. Despite what we might think, Marie wasn't just a fashion-obsessed socialite. In exile within her own country, she shed much of her frivolous image. Her clothes became somber, her letters more strategic, and her tone, resigned. Not hopeless, but clear-eyed. She once wrote, "Everything is falling to ruin. I have no more illusions." That's not the voice of a clueless monarch. That's someone who knows the story is ending. In 1791, she and Louis tried to escape. The infamous flight to Varennes was a desperate, ill-planned act of survival. They made it within miles of safety before being recognized and dragged back. After that, the people stopped pretending. The revolution had teeth, and now they wanted blood. In 1792, the monarchy was abolished. The king was executed in January 1793. Marie followed 9 months later. She rode to the guillotine in a plain cart, her once perfect hair hacked short. The crowds jeered, but she kept her back straight, a queen until the end. What did she see in those final days? Not just the end of her life, but the end of an era. Marie Antoinette believed, to her last breath, that monarchy was more than a crown and a throne. It was the glue of civilization. Whether she was right or wrong is up for debate, but she foresaw the unraveling. She foresaw the blood in the streets, the heads in baskets, the chaos that would spill far beyond France. Marie Antoinette was many things. Naive, yes. Privileged, undoubtedly. But she wasn't blind. History may remember her as a careless queen, but her private writings tell a different story. One of dread, one of prophecy, one of a woman who saw her end long before the blade ever fell.